This is the Georgia Farm Monitor. Since 1966, your source for state and national agribusiness news, and features for farmers and consumers about Georgia's #1 industry, agriculture. The Georgia Farm Monitor is produced by the state's largest general farm organization, the Georgia Farm Bureau. Now, here are your hosts, Ray DeLisio and Kenny Bergamy.
And we welcome you to a very special edition of the Farm Monitor. Special because this week's show dedicated entirely to those future farmers of America, aka the Georgia FFA.
Yeah, Ray, this year marking the 90th edition of the Georgia FFA convention, and needless to say, it was quite the celebration. Coming up, the friendships, the competitions, and the overall experience of being a part of the state convention, and why Governor Deal's presence was so significant.
Also on the program, showcasing the talents of FFA members. We'll take you behind the scenes and show you why more and more emphasis and resources are being put towards both the state and national talent shows.
And then later, for 85 years, it's been the symbol that represents FFA values. See the incredible detail that goes into making the trademark corduroy jackets. All this and more starting right now on the Farm Monitor. The celebration continues for FFA as it commemorates 90 years both here in Georgia and across the nation. Needless to say, the recent state convention in Macon was a special one as the historic year attracted some very distinguished guests who used the occasion to enact state legislation into law. John Holcomb has that story.
It was a celebration of the past and present at this year's Georgia FFA convention as the organization celebrated 90 years since its beginning, allowing the current FFA students to get to see how the organization has changed into what it is today.
I think it's neat for these students to understand that we used to look different, that we used to sound different, that agriculture used to be different. And what they can do, I think is pretty eye-opening, because if you'd asked those folks 90 years ago about driving a tractor with a GPS or having women owning farms, I don't think anybody would have believed it. And look at where we are.
Georgia's FFA organization is the third largest FFA organization in the nation, and it continues to grow each and every year.
It's really exciting. I mean, we've seen monumental growth. I think over the past 20 years, Georgia FFA has continued to grow. It's really exciting. This year we'll break 42,000 FFA members in the state.
Since its start in 1928, the organization has had a focus of shaping the future leaders of the agriculture industry, giving them leadership skills and career development skills that will help them in whatever career they choose in life.
The thing that I like to tell folks about FFA is it's going to make a student, it's going to prepare them for success regardless of what their career is in the future. The leadership skills, the personal development skills, the instructional components in FFA will prepare them for whatever they choose to do in the future.
To help really get started, the convention had a special guest. Secretary of Agriculture, Sonny Perdue, spoke to the more than 5,000 that were there. His message was on the importance of resiliency and perseverance, and how the FFA has done that now for 90 years and needs to continue that into the future.
The principles they teach and the relationships they build among themselves and with the ag teachers in those schools are bonds that will last for a lifetime. Ask any alumni of FFA and they'll tell you how important it was in shaping their whole careers and their lives in many ways, teaching them the principles by which to live.
There was also another special guest, and that was Governor Nathan Deal. Deal was there and made history as he signed new legislation into law. Senate Bill 330, or the Green Agricultural Education Act, was passed by the General Assembly during this past session.
Now, across the state, anyone that offers, any school system that offers an ag course also is offering FFA and SAE as a part of the instructional model. So it basically makes our model of instruction, it puts it in legislative code, which is very big for us. But also another component of the bill allows agriculture education to take that 3-component model of instruction and duplicate it in the elementary grades, K through 5.
The bill passed in the General Assembly without opposition, showing just how much support the FFA and agriculture has here in the state of Georgia.
We're very thankful for the support we have across the state for agriculture education, from school administrators, superintendents and principals, the legislature, the Department of Education, the community, the businesses. All of the support that we have make it possible to promote and grow the FFA.
Reporting in Macon for the Farm Monitor, I'm John Holcomb.
All right, John, great job, sir. Thank you so much. 90 years and still going strong. And in case you didn't know, here are some notable FFA alumni, starting with country singer Trace Adkins. For all you Lost and Party of Five fans, actor Matthew Fox wore the corduroy jacket. Fox, a native of Crowheart, Wyoming. Linden, Texas native and Eagles co-founding member Don Henley. Another country music legend, Tim McGraw from Start, Louisiana. Taylor Swift, of course, her ties to FFA, very well known. The 39th President of the United States, Georgia's own Jimmy Carter from Plains, Georgia. And, of course, SEC legend, 1985 Heisman Trophy winner and two-sport star Bo Jackson, who spent his FFA days in McAdory, Alabama.
Even before the opening session of this year's convention, nearly 1,000 members participated in Living to Serve projects throughout the city of Macon. While there was plenty of cleaning, painting, and rebuilding, one particular project put the students' agricultural knowledge to use. And Damon Jones explains.
Living to Serve. That's the last three words of the FFA motto, and it was put into practice on the first day of convention as students from all over the state volunteered their time in the Macon community that is serving as their host for the weekend.
Roughly 800 FFA members of the approximately 6,000 to 7,000 that are attending convention this weekend will be out into the community today, on site now around 10 a.m. and they'll be out there till the middle of the afternoon. This year we will be at 12 sites.
And one of those was the Rescue Mission of Central Georgia, an organization that serves as a life recovery program for both men and women in need. And this particular project was a natural fit for the FFA, as the kids got a chance to showcase some of their agricultural knowledge.
I mean, it's always good to do work and kind of research other stuff, but it's always good to kind of return to your roots. It literally and physically, yeah. It's good to work with the soil, you know. It's hands-on. That's really what I love about it. It's hands-on, you know. You're returning back to what you did the first year, what you did as a kid, really.
We've got these wonderful kids with the FFA out here planting gardens. And not just planting, they weeded the raised beds, and they put a lot of hard work into that. So we're going to take pride in making sure that this thing is maintained the right way. So to see them and their hard work was huge.
While all the hard work will certainly benefit the rescue mission, it was also helpful for the students as they get the pride in knowing they had a big hand in improving the community.
I really think it's great to help the community just because, you know, you're becoming a part of it. You're not just standing aside, you're being active. You're helping yourself by helping other people, and that's truly a great feeling.
These young kids come out and wanted to know how they could give back and how they could help somebody that was in need, and volunteered their time and effort so that we could have fresh vegetables here to serve our men and women. So that touched our hearts.
And this effort will be appreciated by the 36 men, 7 women, and 22 children at the rescue mission, as they will be able to enjoy meals that are literally farm to table.
There's a few things that we really use around here a lot and that can go a long way, like tomatoes and squash and peppers. And so I think that's going to be the bulk of what's planted. And the guys really appreciate fresh vegetables. So what's growing in that garden goes right back in-house.
All this is truly a labor of love for these students as they genuinely enjoy the community outreach.
You know, I really like it just because all my friends are out here, my teachers out here, my advisors, people from different school. I can really meet new people, new other members, and it's just having a great time helping people.
Having the nearly 800 members helping out in the community is not just a great message being sent by the FFA, it also serves as inspiration to all those involved with the organization.
It's a beautiful thing to see, and it's incredibly contagious. It actually brings life back into us older teachers who have kind of been around a while, been there, done that. That new enthusiasm that a student shines it's a bright light to see.
Reporting from Macon, I'm Damon Jones for the Farm Monitor.
All right, Damon, great job. When we come back, the rising stars of FFA, their amazing talents, and why the annual talent show gets bigger and bigger with every convention.
The National FFA is one of the largest student-run organizations in the country, and each year 6 students are elected to be the faces of the organization, so to speak. One of those 6 students is Ian Bennett from Hayhira, Georgia. The Monitor sat down with Ian, who spoke about his love of agriculture, the FFA, and what he hopes to accomplish as the Southern Region Vice President.
My name is Ian Bennett. I'm the 2017-2018 National FFA Southern Region Vice President. I grew up in Hayhire, Georgia, and kind of the way I got involved in agriculture was really on my family's farm back home. I come from a third-generation purebred Charolais operation, and I really started working out there just about as soon as I could walk. I joined the FFA in the 6th grade at Hayhire Middle School. I really just got started involved with that just because my dad suggested I take an ag ed class, and in taking an ag class, he joined the FFA. And my ag teacher got me involved. I did a couple public speaking events, got started showing livestock. And really when I got into the 7th grade and into high schools, I started competing in the agri-science fair, and that's really kind of when I found my stride in the FFA, I guess. So the National FFA organization is one of the largest student-led organizations in the nation. So having said that, I'm one of 6 student leaders for this organization. I'm going to take a year off of school. I'm a junior at the University of Georgia, so I'll be taking a spring semester and a fall semester off. I'll spend about 300 days out of the next year on the road. I'll travel over 100,000 miles. I'll give somewhere in the neighborhood of about 65 different facilitated workshops, whether that's going to a school and teaching a lesson in a classroom, or that's putting on a conference for some state officers from all across the nation. And then I'll keynote about 100 different events throughout the year. Since about the 7th grade on, I always knew that trying to run for national office was something that I wanted to do. So it was something that I've worked really hard for a really long time to get here. But up until that moment where they called my name out and I got to run up on stage, I wasn't really sure if it was ever going to work out. The thing I'm looking forward to the most is just the opportunities I'm going to have in front of me over the next year. Like I said, I'm going to be on the road for over 300 days out of the next year. So each and every day is going to bring a new opportunity and a new challenge and a new way for me to grow. And a new opportunity for me to go out there and make a difference. As a national officer, I really want to help our students take advantage of all those opportunities and be as successful as they can possibly be. So whether that means helping someone compete in a CDE event, whether that means helping somebody write a speech when they're trying to run for area or chapter office, I just want to be there and be available to our members to help them take advantage of every opportunity.
Very talented young man. Speaking of which, as we all know, America's Got Talent, and a ton of it can be found right down the street at your local FFA chapter. Knowing this, leaders at both the state and national level have made a conscious effort in recent years to highlight these individuals by giving them a platform in which to showcase their incredible talents. If you can sing, play an instrument, or better yet do both, then FFA has a spot for you. As the organization continues to improve year in and year out, so too does its annual talent show. Leading the charge is Georgia FFA alum and former talent show participant herself, Sierra Milligan.
So the talent show kind of began as a way for students who don't necessarily compete in the CDEs or things such as that, and they have something outside of just the normal agricultural round, for them to really embrace their talents and skills that they were given and showcase those to the other students that we have. And it allows them to be up on stage and really sing their hearts out. And to be honest, when I first came in, I knew that we had some really talented students, but each and every year I'm amazed and blown away by the talent and the sheer absolute amazingness that comes from these students and the hard work and dedication that they put into everything. And I can't even describe how exciting it is. I work with the Georgia FFA talent and I also work with the National FFA talent, and to see students not only from our state excel but from all the states across the nation do so well, it's just, I can't say anything other than it's amazing. I know I keep using that word, but it truly is.
Amazing definitely describes this young lady. Victoria James is a senior at Patala Charter Academy in Edison, Georgia, and tells me she's a small-town girl with big world dreams. Victoria says she started singing in the 5th grade and has had a passion for music ever since. One of her biggest fans is her FFA advisor, Kitty Bottaford.
I've always believed that there is something in agriculture or FFA for everyone, regardless of their background, regardless of their career choice, and this is an example of that. Something that I've always been able to do is encourage students who I know have talent and push them towards this, and that's why I've had so many kids participate in it. And it gives those kids that have a little something extra an opportunity to pursue music or to pursue that side of FFA
As far as experience, Victoria certainly had the edge in this year's competition. That's because as recently as October, she was front and center on a much larger scale as in the National FFA show in Indianapolis.
It was nerve-wracking at first, I'm not gonna lie. That was my biggest crowd. Just the Lord was over me. I couldn't do it without him, and just seeing the crowd with me. FFA is the best crowd you can ever sing in front of. When I started out, I didn't know any about agriculture at all. And just getting involved in my chapter and becoming a leader within my chapter, leading officer meetings, just that's what started the passion inside of me. And finding about FFA talent, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna join.
Like Victoria, Pickens High School freshman Emma Long also shared the spotlight in Indianapolis. When asked how the talent competition has benefited her FFA experience, Emma says it's taught her more about stage presence than anything and has even helped her with public speaking engagements.
What it does for someone like me is if you do want to pursue a career maybe in the performing arts industry, it helps you learn more about how you are as a performer. Because it's like anything else, you have your own style of the way you do things. My style of performer is I like to talk to the crowd. I like to get them involved. These programs like this, National Talent, Georgia Talent, it has helped me expand my horizons as a performer.
So we've definitely gotten some more support, which I am thankful for that. I want to thank all of our sponsors that do sponsor the talent competition. We have some really great people who back us, and I foresee the future growing even further. Taking this and you know, we had a national talent winner, Noah Davis, that was actually allowed, or he got elected to go to American Idol. So that was great. Watching him on TV was wonderful. And I see students doing that even more, making record deals, going here, going there, and singing on other stages. There's no reason why these members can't go even further. And I foresee Georgia FFA as well as National FFA taking it to that next level and providing the opportunity for students to excel even further.
Don't forget, if you missed any part of this story or others on today's program, you can still see them in their entirety at our YouTube channel, the Georgia Farm Monitor. Plenty of stuff to choose from. In fact, the archive goes all the way back to 2009.
And while you're there, keep clicking and like the Georgia Farm Monitor Facebook page. Send us some feedback as well. Or if you have a story idea, or if you just want to leave us a comment or suggestion, send us a message either on Facebook or the address that is on your screen, news@farm-monitor.com. When we come back, words that's been spoken hundreds upon thousands of times, the history behind the FFA creed, and even a little test to see how well you know it.
My father, Irwin Tiffany, grew up in Linden, Kansas, and the family had a house and a farm on the edge of town. My father's job was to be a representative of the University of Wisconsin and traveling around the state, teaching vocational agricultural topics in the Wisconsin high schools. You'd like to get the kids out onto the farm, reaching the heart and soul of learning to be a farmer in the field. And he was getting ready for the annual conference of the Future Farmers of America. And he wanted to do something to kind of put a stake in the ground and say, here's where I stand. That became the creed. It wasn't an academic statement, it was a philosophic statement. It's a work of philosophy, it's a work of art. It gives me a warm feeling to know that my father had the sensitivity to have been able to make that contribution affect the lives of so many. That made all the difference in the world.
I believe in the future of agriculture.
With a faith born not of words, but of deeds.
Achievements won by the present and past generations of agriculturists.
And the promise of better days through better ways.
Even as the better things we now enjoy have come to us from the struggles of former years.
I believe that to live and work on a good farm,
or to be engaged in other agricultural pursuits,
is pleasant as well as challenging.
For I know the joys and discomforts of agricultural life.
And hold an inborn fondness for those associations which,
even in hours of discouragement, I cannot deny.
I believe in leadership from ourselves and respect from others.
I believe in my own ability to work efficiently and think clearly,
with such knowledge and skill as I can secure.
And in the ability of progressive agriculturists to serve our own and the public interest.
In producing and marketing the product of our toil.
I believe in less dependence on begging and more power in bargaining.
In the life abundant.
And enough honest wealth to help make it so, for others as well as myself.
And less need for charity, and more of it when needed.
And being happy myself.
And playing square with those whose happiness depends upon me.
I believe that American agriculture can and will
hold true to the best traditions of our national life.
And that I can exert an influence in my home and community,
which will stand solid for my part in that inspiring task.
Well, finally this week, like the creed itself, that blue corduroy zip-up jacket is a staple of FFA that every member wears proudly.
With that said, let's go behind the scenes to see how the FFA jackets are constructed and personalized in Van Wert, Ohio.
In 1933, Dr. Littner from the Fredericktown, Ohio FFA chapter happened to see a jacket, corduroy jacket in a, what he called an old haberdashery store in Fredericktown, and that coat had a bulldog on the back of it, chain stitched with a manual chenille machine. And he said, well, that could be something that we could use for our chapter when we go to the convention. On the production side, there's actually 35 separate sewing operations into making every FFA jacket. We'll sew the front emblems on, the back emblems on, attach the belts, we'll attach the pockets next, zippers, prepare the sleeves with the sleeve placket. We'll hem the bottom, attach the cuffs and the collar, and bar tack the high stress area, the pocket, and then also add the buckle straps on the side and trim and inspect it. They will go through the front lettering department first, which is where we'll add the name, office, and year. Once that's done, we'll go through back lettering, which is a chenille embroidery machine, and a chain stitch on the back of the state and the chapter. The final step in the process is trimming the state and chapter and folding and shipping the jacket. One of the unique things I think is how important that coat and that tradition hasn't changed since 1933 when we helped design that first FFA jacket. That's just a very special icon of the organization, and we're very proud to be a part of that. It's really actually really emotional for me and for, I'm sure, a lot of our staff when they get to see those kids and interact with them at the show, or even when they come through our plant for tours and get to talk to those kids and advisors and see what that jacket means to them. It really gives us some pride in what we do every day.
A tradition like no other, that is for sure. Well, unfortunately, that concludes our special coverage of the 90th Annual Georgia FFA State Convention.
Well, before we go, a quick thanks to everyone who made our coverage possible, and to say thank you for letting us be a part of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Georgia Farm Bureau was a proud sponsor of some of the events, including this year's concert featuring country music singer Frankie Ballard. We leave you with a look at some of the highlights from that show. See you next week.
Take care, everybody.
All right, before we go much further, bring it down. You're a stripper and